Hello, everyone, and welcome to AudioSummary. Here, we break down your favorite books and movies into short, powerful audio stories, so you get the heart of the story fast. If you love storytelling, but don't always have the time, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's dive right in. NOSFERATU 2024. The film opens with a young woman, Ellen, played by Lily Rose Depp, calling out and asking for companionship. She is answered by a low, inhuman voice that says she has awoken him from an eternal slumber. The voice belongs to an unseen entity, visible only as a silhouette in Ellen's curtains, blowing by the window. The entity asks if Ellen pledges herself to him, and she agrees. As she does, Ellen begins to seize. Germany, 1838. Years later, Ellen is now married to real estate agent Thomas Hutter, portrayed by Nicholas Hoult. They live in the town of Wisborg and are deeply in love. Thomas begins a new job working for Orlok, played by Simon McBurney. Orlok assigns him the task of selling an old castle that belongs to the mysterious Count Orlok, played by Bill Skarsgård. When Thomas informs Ellen of his upcoming trip, she becomes visibly upset. She tells him about a dream she had on their wedding night, in which all the guests had died and death appeared as her groom. Yet, strangely, she claims it was the happiest she has ever felt. Thomas leaves Ellen in the care of their close friends, Friedrich Harding, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, and his wife Anna, portrayed by Emma Corrin. The Hardings have two daughters, Clara and Louise, played by Adela Sova and Milena Konstantinova, and Anna is pregnant with a third child. Thomas travels to a small village in Bohemia for the night. When the locals discover that his business involves Count Orlok, they try to avoid him, but they let him stay after he pays double. That night, Thomas sees the villagers entering the woods with a naked woman. There, they approach a sarcophagus containing a monstrous creature, which they impale with a stake. The next day, Thomas continues on foot into the forest, where a carriage mysteriously arrives and escorts him to the castle in the mountains. He meets Count Orlok, who moves only in darkness and instructs Thomas to address him as "my lord." As they go over the paperwork, Thomas cuts his thumb. Orlok senses the blood and feeds from the wound. He notices a locket Thomas carries. It contains a picture of Ellen. Orlok immediately recognizes her as the woman who once pledged herself to him. Orlok doesn't let Thomas leave, claiming he's too weak. That night, the Count feeds from Thomas's chest while he is unconscious. Later, Thomas discovers Orlok resting in a sarcophagus, confirming that the Count is a vampire. He tries to kill Orlok with a pickaxe, but the vampire awakens and chases him with his hounds. Thomas escapes by jumping from a window and into a river below. Back in Wisborg, Ellen begins experiencing seizures again. She is distressed by Thomas's absence and becomes bedridden. Dr. Wilhelm Sievers, played by Ralph Ineson, is called to treat her using modern medicine. He believes her symptoms are caused by an excess of blood. Meanwhile, Thomas is found and taken to a church, where he recovers before rushing home, knowing that Orlok is coming for Ellen. Dr. Sievers consults with his mentor, Dr. Albin Eberhard von Franz, portrayed by Willem Dafoe, an expert in the occult. Together, they visit Orlok, who has gone mad and is now institutionalized. He is found surrounded by headless pigeons, and even bites into another, proclaiming that his master is coming. Von Franz determines that Ellen is being controlled by Count Orlok, who is known in legends as NOSFERATU. Alltagfriedliche Skeptiker von Franz Visitzen. She reveals that Orlok has been haunting her mind and dreams since childhood. She questions whether evil comes from within or from beyond. Count Orlok travels to Wisborg aboard a ship, hiding in crates filled with his native soil and with plague rats. Once aboard, he breaks free and slaughters the entire crew. The ship eventually crashes into the harbor, releasing the rats and spreading the plague. Thomas returns home, but finds that Orlok is now speaking through Ellen. The Count arrives in Wisborg and is guided to his new residence by Orlok, who has escaped. Orlok reveals that his plan depends on Ellen re-pledging herself to him of her own free will. He cannot take her by force. That night, Orlok visits Ellen in a dream. She now sees him for the monster he truly is and refuses to submit. He warns her that she has 3 nights to change her mind and divorce Thomas, or he will kill everyone she loves and take the entire town. When Ellen wakes, she finds Anna lying unconscious, with rats crawling across her body. The plague begins to overtake Wisborg. Orlok continues trying to manipulate Ellen's mind, attempting to drive a wedge between her and Thomas. In defiance, Ellen and Thomas have rough sex, asserting their bond and her rejection of Orlok's influence. That night, tragedy strikes. Anna hears her daughter scream and finds Orlok feeding on Clara and Louise before killing Anna and her unborn child. Friedrich, devastated, visits Anna's tomb and kisses her, knowingly infecting himself with the plague so that he may die beside her. Von Franz and Seizures later find their bodies and burn them. Ellen and Von Franz realize the only way to defeat Orlok is through Ellen's self-sacrifice. Knowing Thomas would never allow it, Von Franz leads him and Seizures on a false hunt for Orlok. They find a sarcophagus and impale who they believe is the vampire, only to discover it is her Nock. Nock laments that he was never going to receive the rewards he was promised. Orlok only ever cared about taking Ellen. Von Franz then sets fire to the manor. Back at home, Ellen welcomes Orlok and willingly repledges herself to him. He kisses her, has sex with her, and feeds off her blood, unaware that Ellen is delaying him until sunrise. When morning comes, sunlight pours in. Realizing too late that he's been deceived, Orlok screams as he burns and withers away into a corpse. Ellen, now dying, holds him until her final breath. Thomas arrives just in time to hold Ellen in his arms as she dies. He weeps over her body, heartbroken. Von Franz closes the story by explaining that, thanks to Ellen's sacrifice, the town of Wisborg was spared from the curse of NOSFERATU. Thanks for listening to Audio Summary. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay curious. Until next time,